even the comedies that we liked and that we would laugh to, there were some that were not appropriate for children. There were some comedies that had nudity in them. And I remember that when we used to watch certain movies, for example, that it looked like, the woman is about to move shirt. The speed at which my mother would change the channel. Sometimes we would close our eyes. That's the time we'll remember, it's like my button but will not be fidgeting all over the place. We were very awkward around mature content. But I knew people who were seeing adult-rated movies when we were in JSS1, JSS2. In fact, to even shock some of you, let's express the truth on this program this morning. By the time I was 13, 14, some of my classmates were scaling the fence to go and have sex outside. I'm talking about 13-year-old boys. By that time, they knew. This was Nigeria back in those days, 1990. Was it 1999? 2000, 2001. Those days where 50 naira was still a big note. We're in the village. I had friends, classmates who would jump the fence. They'll come back and tell us to say, hey, they give that girl 50 naira. We're in the village. Imagine giving a village girl 50 naira and they'll tell her to carry out sexual acts on them. 50 naira. And where did they get all of this information from? They were consuming content. They were consuming material that they were not meant to consume. We all remember those days of Better Lover magazine, Hints and Hearts. Those were not for children. But yet, some people got their hands on those materials. In fact, at one point in this country, Rivers State, those of you who used to go around Rumala those days, you get to Rumala ready to sell newspapers. You just see those magazines all over the place. All over. Adult material. But some will say, but we turned out okay. We saw Commando. We saw Basic Instinct. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. But the fact that you didn't do doesn't mean the next person didn't do. And now, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in 2024, in a generation where everything is on their smart devices. The things people are doing, the things some children are doing, frightening. So, my friend, last month caught her daughter on one of those apps talking to somebody in a state of, I would call it semi-nudity. Let's call it that. The daughter didn't know that her mother's computer automatically records video calls. Automatically does. That's the function she has. She didn't do it because of her children. She just did it because, she's always on business calls. So she likes to record so that nobody says, I promised you 1 million naira and did not pay. Do you actively monitor, ladies and gentlemen, the content your children right now are consuming, whether it's television, even on jolly old radio stations? Let's go. Yeah! Let's go! conversation this wonderful Tuesday morning. 017-923-0002, 017-923-0003, 017-923-0002, 0817923-0003. This morning we're talking about parental control, particularly over entertainment, the stuff people are consuming for fun. The lyrics, do you listen to them? Do you even know what they're talking about? I got to be at a school years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago, and then I think I made mention of it. All the children who were called out to perform were performing. These were Nigerian songs. Were performing songs that had sexual content in them, and these were barely teens. I'm talking about children who were about 8, 9. They were dancing things and doing things that they were not meant to be doing. They didn't even have any business knowing those things, but yes, they did. But their parents were somewhere. Go, that's my girl, that's my baby boy. Dance, show them, give them. That's why we're here, to give you conversations.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
With Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Hello, Port Harcourt. Good morning. Zion is on the line. Greetings to you, Zion.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
The fruit that got ripened from the tree, it's sweeter and delicious than the one that was forcefully plucked, ripened with chemicals. True or false? Scientifically proven, affirmative is yes. The truth is this: most of the children born today are liking to be that. They were forced. Forced by how? Teenage mothers and teenage fathers. Unprepared parents. Accidentally they got pregnant.
How many parents are actually prepared to children? How many parents really are prepared, whether it's financially, spiritual? How many people are actually prepared?
Jude, in the days of our mothers, they were prepared to have children. They were conscious enough and they know the consequences. They were groomed to that effect. That is why when they were playing as children, they bring counter, bring conco, and they cook rice, and they cook beans.
Okay.
They give them doll babies. I am feeding my baby. True or false? Today, how many of the mothers today play that kind of play? Do you see the mind shift and the mindset? Oh, let me just say a very big thank you and acknowledge the O-Series that brought in a concept they call intentional parenting. Let's give them their credit. How many of today's parents are parents by intention? So what do you expect their kids to do? They don't even monitor. They don't guide. They don't look at what their kids are doing. Oh, you bought them Android phone, wonderful. You give them the connection, wonderful. Do you come back to ask them questions? Who are you chatting with? Do you have the time to consider the materials they have browsed, the history? Do you consider to go that? Oh, I'm so tired, let me just sleep. Children, how are you? Fine, no problem. Not know that there's one random guy chatting with your daughter somewhere. Do you know that there is this app they call To Go? It was
yes.
That environment I knew parents would have failed in this society. I saw how them our sisters were lured. They diverging them there. They took away their innocences there. Today, as a father, you must come back and check. Okay, I bought you this phone. Let me see what you are doing. Let me see your Twitter page, your Facebook. Let me see your friends. Who are they? Okay, let me watch these movies with you. What are they saying? What are they doing? Rather, we abandon our responsibilities to nannies. We would abandon responsibilities to house help. How old is this house help? Even this house help is looking for who to be a father to her, and you abandon your children to such a person. What do you expect? So parents should go back to the drawing board. Don't leave it to your grandma. Do you know that our mothers, the way they trained us, the iron hand they use in holding us, they don't hold their grandchildren with that kind of iron hands.
They're usually softer. Yeah.
Very soft. It's the don't touch, it's my granddaughter, it's my grandson. But did they treat us like that? My mother is guilty to that too. She's listening right now. She's guilty to that too. Jude, until we go back to that age of our mothers, when they consider who are our friends, this Bible you carry come out, who give you, and no buy them for you.
Okay. All right, Zion, so we have to go on the break, please. We'll come back and get to you.
For more talk, news and sports, stay tuned to Nigeria Info.
those movies when I was not even up to 15 years of age. And I agree, those movies were not meant for teenagers. In fact, some of those movies had R18 on them. Yes, some of them are rated R. You know, when we talk about rated R, a lot of people think it's just pornography when you get to see RRR or triple X. No, they are rated R because the themes in those movies, many of them are real life stories, but they're not for underage individuals. You know, just the same way, you know, a baby doesn't get to eat eba after 2 weeks, you know, or, you know, start to chew on a kanda, you know, when she's a month old. You know, there are ages and stages, you know, for content to be either consumed, whether figuratively or literally. Like I said, I know, I'm very certain of this in my bones as I'm having this conversation, that there are a lot of individuals, right, who did, saw, ate, drank, even taking alcohol. Those of you who started to drink beer when you were in SS1, you know that's not content for, you know, a minor to have. You were already consuming alcohol when you were SS1, SS3. You were not meant to legally. In fact, that's a crime. If anybody was caught giving you those things, that person ought to have been charged. But we grew up with people not minding what we were doing. As long as we're not stealing, killing, or going to see men or women, it was fine. But there were a lot of things that we were doing that was wrong. A lot of them. Headline news, and after that we'll get back to WhatsApp.
Headline news, Nigeria Info on
92.3.
The Sharp television or a Toshiba television. Yeah, those were very popular TVs when we were younger. The very bourgeois people had what you would call them, Sonys. Yeah, no, a lot of people had those. Those were very expensive. So anywho, you've got your Sharp television or your Toshiba. You've got your VHS player, whether it was Daewoo player or whether it was LG or whatever. You Sharp bought your cassette player. And then at some point, DVDs came through as well. The question is on those devices. To your mobile phones or your computers that very fortunately for a lot of people have come down to a price that you can have 2 or 3 in the same house. So how are you protecting your children from harmful entertainment? Yes, it's entertaining. And no, when we say harmful, it's not just pornography that is harmful. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of parents in the past decade have noticed an increase in what they will call inappropriate information that have been disseminated in the cartoons, in the children's shows that are available for the awards to watch. There was a time I grew up watching Sesame Street. Those of you who are probably from the 80s and maybe 70s generation, because I think Sesame Street is even way older than I am, right? You would remember that a lot of children would sit down to learn their ABCs, how to pronounce certain words with that particular program. And there were programs, there were cartoons such as, let's see, Gummy Bears or Tales by Moonlight, all right? We used to have programs that had a way of entertaining but also teaching us life's lesson. We were brought up in the era of the tortoise stories, how the tortoise was able to outrun and outfox the hare and all those kind of stories. Those contents are still available today, but in the world where numbers are ruling, if your YouTube channel doesn't have huge following, you will not get the kind of money that you want. The big studios are churning out content that will entertain people but not necessarily inform or educate them. So you are having a generation of people who are coming into society. They are rude, they're immature, they have tantrum. There's a dearth in the way they can control circumstances. When things don't go right, people break down. Typical example. In some secondary schools, and I'm not saying that it's wrong to do this, in some secondary schools here in Port Harcourt, the children are woken up to with good soft music. Oh, wake up, princess and princess. The life of the child of God is this. All those things are good. And then they go out, there's money to feed them. They eat rice and chicken, big laps of chicken. Everybody's happy. Great. But the day that they don't bring chicken, the child melts. The child just goes into a shock. The day the child fails, the child doesn't know how to understand that failure is part of life. When you don't give that child the brand new sneakers, the brand new hair, mommy, everybody's wearing this makeup. You don't give the child that makeup. Where are they getting that? It's the content that they consume. When you don't give them, they break down, they act out, they lash out. Are you intentionally watching what your children are consuming? And no, it doesn't stop with barring all the XXX sites. No, it doesn't stop. There's more to life than, in quotes, protecting them from sexual harm or sexual predation. My name is Jude. Let's have a conversation, shall we?
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
With Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, numbers to call 017-923-0003, 0817923-0007, 0817923-0003, 0817923-0007. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X, at Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH. WhatsApp message is here 0809-030-6416. Good morning, Jude. It is the duty of the immediate parents to train their kids. Grandparents are built to be soft towards their grandchildren. Nowadays, parents are very guilty of not training their children. Tom is on the line speaking to us from Elele. Tom, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jude.
Good morning.
You know, the increase of social media, AIs and other new gadgets and electronics has made parenting not to be intentional. Intentional parenting is one of the basic ways families should go in. Just like you are saying, your mom, your dad had to sit down in the parlor to watch together with the family. How often the family sits down with their children to watch? How often do they check the kind of characters their friends have? How often do parents go to say, hey, come, let's go visit your friend's family, and the family of your friend is the family of the other family? We don't. We just think about buying gadgets for them, giving them good food, forgetting that in those days our parents never trained us without the whip. We came. Now it's an offense to kill a child. But it has also been a very good tool in upbringing of children, where you have to give them punishment. Sometimes it does not be flogging. Sometimes you lock them in the room, tell them to do some assignments, clean the room, make sure they clean their room.
Yeah, some chores.
Do some domestic job. But now parents don't do that. There are no more intentional parenting. Just like the first caller said. So, Jude, I think those days when we watch Sesame Street, Barney and Friends, even when the advent of what they call it,
wrestling.
Wrestling came in, parents are not even allowing their children to do that, to watch. Some of the park you see on the VHR park, this is content, X-rated, and parents don't care to check this rated, so they laugh at all these things now. Thank you. My name is Tompolo from the LLA.
Thank you very much. Great to have had you join us. Yes, they are usually rated. And talking about the video cassettes, VHS that we used to be, even DVDs, when they initially decided to come into this country, they were rated. But these days, a lot of people are collecting and obtaining their content online. You'll be hard pressed these days to get to those stores and say you want to buy a DVD player. Well, on your phone, transfer to your phone. And so this is why it's even very risky. Now, the big players, talking about the big apps that people use, like YouTube, for example, and which other one? Even Google, right? So when you register, when you sign in, all right, there's certain content you can't use. You can't see if your age is not verifiable. But, we live in a time where children are pretty smart. They have ways to circumvent and go around these things. So once again, what exactly should you be doing? How can you even do what you need to be doing, I beg your pardon, to help protect your children from the content that they could be exposed to? Because sometimes the big, the big studios, the movie producers, they are also churning out content that might not sit well with you or indeed your own society. Might not sit well. Let's get to read messages now, shall we? 0809-030-6416. 0809-030-6416. I don't think monitoring a child's digital devices is enough these days. I used to think stuff like Snow White cartoons were safe for children. I watched them as a child. Imagine my shock when I realized that they have changed the content of basically all the cartoons some of us watched as children. So the names are the same, but they are not the same programs. Another thing, sleepovers. Definitely not happening. Even if I think you are a good person, I am not letting my child stay in your house because I don't know how you have raised your child. And I have no control over whom you let into your house when I'm not there and my child is there overnight. At this point, it's like playing soccer with their dad or sand and grass or reading paper books I have vetted for the win. Okonkwo is speaking to us from Rumukuta. Okonkwo, good morning to you, please.
Good morning, Brother Jude. How are you?
Very well. Good morning. Welcome. I trust you're well.
Yes. After excellent home training from parents to their children, will those children not go to school? Where there are thousands and millions of different characters.
True.
Majorly negative characters. Those children will then not go to Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram. Brother Jude, the new era, which we call electronic era, which we call digital time and technological time. Jude, it has made sound moral behavior to be difficult. I don't know what we are to do.
He has a point there. Thank you very much. He has a point. Yes, you could do all you can for your child, for your son, for your daughter. But guess what? You are preparing that child for the world. Right? You are doing your best to prepare that child for the world. But what if the world is not ready for your child? Heck, what if your child really isn't even ready for the world? Because you may be preparing the child for an ideal, but the reality is far removed from what this person was expecting. All right. Daniel here says, hi G, good morning. How many you want watch? How many book you want read? How many party you want go? You cannot follow your child everywhere, every time, all the time. You too have a life. You too, you are evolving. Jude, my solution is this. When the child is young, put in as much information, as much trust, and as much love as you possibly can into that child. Open the door for that child to be able to come back to you when the child goes out. Because I cannot be following my child to be watching all the cartoons from morning till night. I want to watch my football. I cannot follow my daughter out to school. Heck, I have to make money for her for that same school fees. Who is going to be monitoring my child? Or do I have the money to go and hire a bodyguard to follow my child everywhere? No. The truth is, the best any parent can do is to pour as much love into their children and just hope that when those children make mistakes, they can come back to their father or their mother, depending who will give them comfort. That's my take. Daniel. He has a point, Chow. Let us be honest. Let me read. Let me read this message from Anonymous. Anonymous, where's that line? So okay, here we go. That I used to think the stuff like Snow White cartoons were safe for children. Disney cartoons those days used to be the safest bet for your children. Just put it on. Those days, we watched everything. Snow White. What do you call that thing? The Little Mermaid. Jungle Book. Rapunzel. The Lion, the Witch. We watched all. My father invested a lot of money making sure that we were getting good content. But this person is very correct that look, they have changed the content of those cartoons that we watched as children. They are no longer the same programs. So you'll be very foolhardy to just assume that because this thing looks like a child-friendly program, that it is the best thing for your child. No, please. You'll be making a very grievous mistake. at Nigeria Info PH. At Nigeria Info PH is where you'll find us, I beg your pardon, on Facebook and on X at Nigeria Info PH. At Nigeria Info PH. All right, Destiny here says, Jude, my young nephew had a problem of visiting porn sites with his parents' phone. Once, he asked for my phone to play games, so I gave it to him. Only for him to return my phone on less than 10 minutes, and I just went to Google Chrome to check something online, only to see that the browser history is filled with porn sites that refuse to open because my phone was on a Google safe search setting that won't allow such sites to open. Jude, I quickly told his parents, and that's how they found out and they corrected him. His parents don't even know what he does with his own gadget or theirs. Hey. Oh. I can just imagine how the parents must have felt. Jude, our parents don't even have so much time for us when we're little, but we turned out to be useful today. You know, like I said, that's what a lot of us have been saying, but more times have changed. It says, I will try my best, but a child that will be better will surely be better and useful. Aminu says. Let me read this message. I think a lot of people can relate to this message. Jude, our parents didn't have as much time for us when we were little, but we turned out to be useful today. I will try my best, but a child that will be better will surely be better and useful. Aminu. I can understand that concern. Many people didn't have their parents looking over their shoulders whilst they were doing whatever it is they were doing. But it turned out okay. Some didn't even have parents to do so. Let's be honest. I have friends who lost their parents pretty early. But they're okay. They're multimillionaires today. But is wealth really the only indication that somebody is good or somebody is successful or that somebody is doing well mentally? Well, go online. There are some websites. I don't have them at my disposal right now. My page is not opening. There are some websites that you can go on that will suggest good quality material